We're dealing with a far-left Mexican president who would be more in line with Bernie Sanders than he would be with even Joe Biden when it comes to politics.
I think that's right.
And so the issue is when he says we want transformative things that aren't the status quo, generally I agree with that. But he's not stopping people from coming across the border.
The conservatives
van a pegar el grito en el cielo.
are going to be screaming all over the place. Even to heaven, they're going to be yelling at heaven.
Pero sin un programa atrevido de desarrollo y bienestar,
But without a daring, a bold program of development and well-being,
no será posible resolver los problemas.
it will not be possible to solve problems.
Donald Trump negotiated with Mexico's president at the time to incentivize them to stop people from coming across the border, and then also to secure their own southern borders versus the Northern Triangle countries so that they could not send those caravans through.
Because there you get to the root of the problem.
Yeah, incentivize it. They actually got to the root cause.
The problem is, and this is, I think, what we have to realize, this president doesn't want to do that. And then you've got the president of Mexico, as Jordan said, far-left guy, who makes the statement that we need something to be transformative. And when they say transformative, I get very nervous. When you've got a leftist president of Mexico and they're saying transformative, that's like AOC saying transformative.
Mexico has said they will contribute $1.5 billion towards infrastructure at the U.S. southern border. I don't even know what that means. They said that improving processing.
This is what it looks like. I mean, there are people wading through the Rio Grande Valley rivers.
It's a massive one right now, yeah. They can't even see the end of the amount of people that are crossing the Del Rio sector over the Rio Grande right now. I mean, there's just people coming out of the woods in droves.
They're crossing a river.
A pretty thick forest. So you come out of that in the desert, but it's thick, it's lush. So you
these
can't
caravans
see.
have thousands and tens of thousands of people.
Probably in the water right there is almost 100 people.
I mean, folks, this is
It's very dangerous too.
It's dangerous, and they will not. They're so paranoid of doing something that worked because of their view of the previous administration. They will not exercise good judgment.
I just wish they could divorce the policies from the former president, but they cannot do it.
No.
Remain in Mexico worked. We incentivized Mexico. When they said they'll build the wall, they incentivized them. They effectively were building the wall because the money we were receiving back from Mexico and saving. Why are those policies that worked, that took the pressure off of our Border Patrol and ICE agents?
Americans are giving and kind people, and even people that cross illegally, you got to be humane. But the system is so overtaxed, it doesn't function. This is the problem. Folks, when the system's overtaxed, guess what? It doesn't work. And the system is just overtaxed. And this is the great problem that we have with this, and it's where there's no policy. Now, at the ACLJ, we put policies together. We're working with members of Congress on this. But I will tell you, Jordan, you know this. This is an uphill battle to get anything done when it comes to the border right now.
This is a conundrum because you have an administration that just doesn't even want to address this. Literally kowtowed to the most progressive elements. We know what this means, not just on the southern border. God bless these governors in Arizona and Texas who are trying to do their best. The tools that we have at hand are to speak about it, to be honest, frank, to highlight the risks that happen to the United States of America when we have an open border as we have today. And then elections matter. We had a policy. It was called Remain in Mexico. It delivered a deeply reduced flow of illegal immigrants into our country. We ought to simply go back to that. It would put us in a very sound place.
January, 154,000. February, 165,000. March, 222,000. April, 235,000. May, 239,000. You know how many people that is? That's over 1 million encounters.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have, the country's barely hanging in there financially. To put this kind of stress on a system that's broken. Now, listen, we've said we want a comprehensive immigration reform, and I still believe that we need comprehensive immigration reform, but you can't not secure the borders. That's the first part of comprehensive immigration reform.
The issue is that Mexico is a strong enough country, if we incentivize it, to prevent a lot of this because it's not actually Mexicans. So people are having to come there, utilizing Mexico as a route. And again, we know that there's always going to be some people trying to illegally cross. So you can put them, but that's something we have to deal with borders. People want to get into America. But I think, what we're talking about here is why are we allowing, I'm not even talking about the fundamental shift in our culture, because I think a lot of these voters are going to end up being conservative voters one day. And I think the Democrats are wrong on that. But is that when are they ever going to be out of the shadows? Is part one. Because even with Democrat majorities in the House, the Senate, the White House, they're still the shadows. People have been here for 20 plus years.
I know this.
So they can't get agreement on that.
Right.
But at least we had a working, our first job, your first job as president is to secure your own people. The drugs alone, that are killing people, that's one thing. The human trafficking, that van of people, I mean, it's disgusting. It's wrong. It's inhumane. And it's not about radical politics. It's about policies that work.